Howdy y'all, today is August 5th. Really nice farmer's market this morning, great weather. The rain held off, but I think we're gonna get something this afternoon. Grab the wagon real quick, gonna go ahead and get the chicken chores done. The Buffs and Marions made it through their first night in the new coop. I got a community nesting box. I figure we'll give that a shot, see if that works any better. Because the chickens with the dividers, they all pile into one box anyway, so maybe leaving it open is a better answer. Don't know, but we'll try it out. But it looks like they enjoyed themselves, so I'm gonna go ahead and move them for the first time now. Good job, buddy. You're getting there. Got all the coops moved. You can tell right where they were moving from. I've got to do the net too. You can see I have a little divide here. I put the new net over there, and then this was still just the old circle net. It doesn't stand out as much, so I'm going to take all this fence down, probably a little bit of the other fence, and make one giant circle now. So we're supposed to get some rain here in a little while. This is one of the tarps that my friend brought over in a barrel of tarps. This one might fit a little better for the Buffs and Marions compared to the one that's currently on there, because with the one they have, they might get a little wet. So I think this one will cover a little better. So I'm gonna go ahead and strap this down. Well, the blue tarp isn't doing much better than this thin one, so I've got it tacked up there. I'm gonna go ahead, run to Tractor Supply and grab a tarp that'll match the others and also fit the coop. Grab the tarps. Gotta stop and look at some chicken stuff on here though. Alright y'all, let's try this again. Equipped with the right tarp this time. It's starting to cloud up a little bit. Looks like some pretty good little thunderstorms coming through here in a little while, so definitely want to get this tarp on for them. Houdini's at it again. The chicken always scratching everything out of the nesting boxes. Even at the old coop, I just couldn't keep anything in there because she loves just getting in there and playing and making a mess. In the comments of my previous video, someone had asked the question of if I'd thought about winter at all. And yes, I definitely have thought of winter. Actually, last winter, when I was completely mapping out the farm and what I wanted it to look like, I had already started thinking about winter and what I was going to do with the chickens. So the current plan is to take all these coops, flip the tarps over. They're black on the other side. I made sure that they were reversible in that way. So the summer, it reflects, winter, it'll soak up the heat. Also, just gonna do a little bit more winterizing, but the tarps on top will be flipped over. And then I'm gonna park them all in the garden. And then the nets, I have two. It should be enough to circle a good chunk of the garden. And my plan is to just let the chickens out. And all the T-posts that are in the garden, I'm going to get a, I don't know exactly what it's called, but like a bird net. You know, you throw it over a fruit tree or something to keep the birds off it. I think I'm going to put those on top of the T-posts, and then that way the chickens can hang out in the garden, scratch around, eat everything, till everything up for me. And then I'll leave the coop stationary and do some deep bedding like I did on my other property with the larger coops, the larger stationary coops. So that's currently what I'm thinking. I mean, it could change. I'm sure there'll be a lot of tweaking, but that's my initial thoughts on what I'm going to do for the chickens in the winter. Right over my chickens. There's a couple more coming in. A little bird attacking one of them. Hawks everywhere. Like I said, it's a highway between this woods and the woods behind me. That's why I don't like letting the chickens out. because they would be a quick grab and go snack. Got a crowing battle going on between Doodle Doo, the new little guy getting his crow, and Rusty over there. I can see the rain off in the distance there. Starting to get a few sprinkles. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of this, I don't have too much left, on a few of my tomato plants. Getting a little wet, but got all the fertilizer on the tomatoes, so I'm out. I need to get a little bit more. Sure am glad I got that good tarp on. You guys haven't been upstairs in a little while. Not really much going on up here, but you ever wonder what it sounds like when it's raining? It's great white noise. It is pretty loud. Much quieter down here, but you can still hear it even sitting on the landing. It sounds way worse than what it actually is, but we are getting a really good downpour. Not so much a storm or anything, but just solid rain. There is a massive hawk sitting on top of the chicken coop there. There's been a few big ones flying around, but he's pretty good size. Go walk up to him real quick. I think that hawk was sitting on top of that coop looking over here at the chick coop, just eyeballing them. Chickens are kind of keyed up at the moment. So today I'm gonna grab a couple chickens. It's gonna be Sunshine and French Fry, and they were the only two pure buff Orpingtons that I got from that chick project where I gave an elementary school class a couple dozen eggs. They hatched them, and then I took them when the school year was over. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those two out with the other buff and Marins that I just moved out last week. And yes, the kids did name quite a few of the chickens. I've kept a few of them straight. Sunshine is the hen buff Orpington that was very spoiled, very loved. So I'm gonna take her out, and I'm also gonna take French Fry, which is the buff Orpington rooster. The plan is to put him out there. Doodle Doo has been a phenomenal rooster, so I want French Fry to learn from him how to be a good rooster. Then eventually we'll retire Doodle Doo after a little while, but the buff Marin coop is gonna stay buff Marin coop for now. I have a lot of mixes that are buff Marin, obviously because I grabbed the eggs from that coop. So just gonna slowly start running them out, maybe 2 or 4 at a time. It's about 5 o'clock, I think, so it's a good time for them to intermingle a little bit because they got to reestablish the pecking order every time there's a new chicken involved. So it only gives them a few hours before dark, which is nice, and then hopefully tomorrow morning they'll wake up and all is good. And also, since Sunshine does have a name, I'm going to go ahead and give her a band. That way I can kind of keep track of her and she doesn't get lost in the mix. I can pretty much tell all of my buff Orpingtons apart, even without the tags, but I figure why not, so we'll go ahead and grab her. Got French Fry first. He was a pretty easy grab. Now we just got to get Sunshine. Sunshine was also an easy grab. I put the little yellow band on her leg, and we're good to go. So there's a chance that Sunshine and French Fry could be full siblings with Doodle Doo as her dad and having the same mother. Most likely they're just half siblings with Doodle Doo being their dad. So don't really know the mom. Doesn't matter too terribly much. I went ahead and moved them real quick just so they're slightly more interested in the grass when I put these guys in. So it's not as chaotic. Should be just fine though, I'm not too worried. All right, guys. They have never been on pasture before, so this is a first for them. I think they're really gonna like it. What do you think, chickens? Got some new friends. Sunshine found a safe spot. I don't blame her. Actually, the Marins are being nastier than the Buffs. They're doing a lot more pecking. But she's good up there. Just had a van full of people show up. Gonna go see who they are. Look like Mennonite, Amish, just by what I can see through the window from the road of what they're wearing. But we'll go see. Well, that was a very nice surprise. So my friend who I bought the organic pasture mix from brought his wife and his entire family, so all 13 kids. So that was really cool to have them all out on the farm, catch up with them, and yeah, super exciting. Howdy y'all, today is August 8th. I am over at the smaller property, gonna move some more chickens today. I'm looking for the crosses between Marin and Buff Orpington. I wanna get the rest of them over today. I brought 2 crates so I can get 4. If I don't quite have 4 of them, I'll start bringing over some Americana hens. The hens and roosters are still kind of hard to tell apart between the Americanas, so only the ones I can tell for sure that are hens I'll bring over. I'll make sure I definitely have 2. I would never just throw 1 new chicken in a pen. I definitely want them to have a buddy. So I'm gonna kind of sit here, look through some of them, grab the ones I'm gonna take, and then head out. So far I grabbed 2 of the Buff Marin mixes. I think I have at least 1 more. I gotta kind of look through them yet. Chickens did great on their car ride. Gonna go ahead and move the Buff and Marin coop. That way the chickens are on some fresh grass. Slightly distracted by that. Throw in the new chickens, and then French Fry and Sunshine should have some more friends in here. Well, been sitting watching for a few minutes. A little bit of hazing going on, mostly by the Marins, but nothing terrible. The group of 5, got 2 on the bottom, 3 on the top on the left there. Those are the new ones. Everyone else is just kind of doing their own thing at the moment. But so far, so good. I'm gonna go ahead and do all the chicken chores over here now. A big old hole they wallowed out because they were dust bathing in there. So the wheels aren't even touching the ground right now. It's gonna make it a little harder to pull. Not the end of the world. Before I had wheels on this, I actually put pieces of siding from the barn, just scrap to help it slide, so just gonna be brute force getting this thing up. Howdy y'all, today is August 9th. And that hawk is back sitting on the coop. So there must be something besides my chickens that he's interested in. not sure what, or maybe it is just my chickens, but he can't get to them. Round of storms are starting to come through. We had one small one just now. I've got just maybe 45 minutes to get chores done before it hits again. It's not gonna happen, but anyway, the bees are just hanging out. They're not gonna be flying around much. They don't like being in the rain. And because it is gonna be bad weather from now until midnight, I'm not going to take any more chickens out to the property. I prefer the weather to be a little nicer for them. I don't want them to already be stressed out and then there's a storm on top of them and just more chaos. So what I am going to do is pick up the honey super that I left out whenever I did honey last, and at least pick that up, see what the bees did with it. Actually, it looks like a bee flying on it right now, but they did a good job on it, that's for sure. See all the wax on the bottom. We are currently getting some awesome rain out here right now. Love having the extra moisture around, especially for the garden. Keeps things growing. We really needed it. It looks like this week, the next couple days will be pretty dry and then another chance of rain, so that's nice. But that also means I'm going to be soaked here in a little bit when I go out and do chores. So the other day, my dad worked on hooking up the water heater, and there's a pressure release valve. We already took it out, but it wasn't working. So instead of taking the entire water heater out, returning and getting a new one, it's just easier to replace that single valve. So we have yet to do that. We've got a few lines going here. Just spigots at the moment. So it is coming along and looking real nice in there. A little late on that rain, came right in. You can tell I've had a little bit of rain come in before where I forgot to close the windows. I really need to get better about that. It's not raining too hard at the moment. Just opened up the garage door. Personally, I love working in the rain, but looking at the radar and just looking at some of the creepy clouds off to the north and west, it doesn't look so nice. And as soon as I opened up the garage door, there was one of those really hard claps of lightning thunder. So don't really want to go out in the open field with chicken coops out there just yet. So I might wait a little longer, but it's gonna be storming basically on and off through midnight, so I might not have much of a choice, but I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer because I'm having flashbacks from when I almost got hit by lightning. What was that, a month or two ago? All right, I'm just going for it. Chickens are moved. They're on a turn right now, so it's kind of awkward, but they're training along there. Got all the eggs, attempting to keep them dry, but I think that's pretty useless at this point. Everything's soaked. About to put my phone away because it's just getting way too wet out here. And I'm gonna go ahead and wash these eggs since they're already pretty wet, get them in the fridge, and then finish up farming chores. I think another wave's coming through right now. Some pretty crazy lightning going on. So I'm gonna hang out in the barn for a little while. All right, y'all, all the chicken chores are done. They're turned. You can kind of see they're going the other way. The pearl whites are cockeyed a little bit, but the hardest part of those coops in this weather is keeping the food dry because sometimes the rain will blow in. I don't have the feeders up off the ground. They kind of just sit on the ground, and if it's really heavy wind, it'll get the food and it'll just sit in the bottom ring and get it kind of wet. So that took a little while to clean that out, but it wasn't terrible. I did clean out the waters because you get a little bit of algae buildup in there, but other than that, chickens are good to go. I'm completely drenched head to toe. Personally, I don't mind it. I kind of enjoy it. Working in the rain's just fun. So anyway, there's not much else to do here. It's getting a little late in the evening, so I'll probably go ahead and call it a day. Howdy y'all, today is August 10th. I took around one of my metal trash cans that I put chicken feed in, loaded that up in my car, that way I can get it out to the larger property since I have most of my chickens out there at this point. Today I'm going to load up another 4 chickens. This time it'll be the Americanas, get them out, and then I have to run to the feed mill after that. There aren't too many left, primarily roosters. Honestly, it's easier to grab them when there's more chickens because they kind of pile up in a corner and act stupid and they don't see me reach in and grab them real easy. So I'm gonna pick out a few that definitely look like Americana hens, load them up, take them out. Got the first girl, super simple, love it. And there's the second gal. Those two are definitely the easiest to pick out as hens. And here's the other two. That black one there on the left has semi-long tail feathers, but I'm pretty sure that it's a hen. So we're gonna go with it. Got all 5 of the new ones hanging out together. So at least they got some friends. All right, chickens, you're free to go. Always takes them a little bit. Hopefully these guys are nice to them. Still waiting on the last hen to get out. No rush. Last I counted, I now have 20 in the buff and Marin pen. I think speckled Sussex, I have 24 hens in there, or just 24 chickens, including roosters. This was 13, the Americanas, but I'm gonna slowly keep adding some more. I think I can easily bring that number up to 20. There's still several over at the smaller property. And I think a lot of those are still hens. They're just kind of hard to tell. And then the pearl whites, I think there's 16 or 18 in there. I haven't counted recently, but still a few more to bring out here, and then we should be good. And everybody's out. I can't hardly tell who the new ones even are. Got enough chicken food for another couple weeks. Also grabbed a bag of oyster shells. And it felt like I just went to the feed barn pretty recently. So I looked up the last time I was there and it was exactly 2 weeks ago. So it's about $100 a week to feed these chickens, which is crazy. I do have over 100 chickens, but that organic feed does cost a pretty penny. Each of these bins hold 150 pounds of chicken feed or 3 bags. So what I do, I take a little bit of calcium here. Just got that from the feed mill there. And that just helps with the eggshells, keep them nice and strong. Just good for the chickens in general. Also put in a scoop of diatomaceous earth along with it. And that's just good for any sort of bugs, parasites. It also kind of helps keep the food from clumping up. And then I just mix all that in. And the chickens are good. When I was out today, I also grabbed this for the garden, just a fertilizer that I'll put on the tomatoes and everything out there. Probably be a little while since I just did it, but this is the biggest bag I could find. Everything else was pretty small, so anyway, I'll save this for a rainy day. Alright y'all, checking out this hive here, the cedar hive. Last time I was in here, we reduced it down to 1 box, added 2 beetle traps because there are quite a few small hive beetles in here and they were starting to mess up the hive. Check out this trap I pulled out. Look at all the small hive beetles in there. I love seeing them in the trap, but man, that was a lot in there. The bees are smart and they will actually crowd them in these little holes. And plus the beetles like trying to hide from the bees because the bees are always trying to push them out. So they'll fall in those holes, oil gets them, and they're gone. So let's go ahead and check the second trap now. It's got quite a few in this one as well. Maybe not as many. That white stuff's powdered sugar I got in there last time, but definitely caught some beetles. Well, y'all, I was looking through and at the very bottom found this. So there's some beetle, there's some larva, there's some stuff going on. My other two hives I have screen bottom boards on, so things like this can just fall straight through. But some beekeepers swear by solid bottom boards. I wanted to give a solid bottom board a try just to see what it was like. I do not like it. I have not seen too many good benefits of it, so I'm gonna go ahead, swap it out, get them a screen bottom board. This poor hive has just been struggling all year. I always feel kind of bad killing a queen bee, but I think it's gonna have to happen because I've given her plenty of time. There just aren't any good signs that I'm seeing in that hive. It's really weak. She's just not producing. There aren't any eggs. I pulled out 2 frames. Ton of blank comb. Looked really nice, but not one egg in any of that. So she's just a failing queen. She could be old. She could just not be any good. So I'm gonna go ahead and order a new queen today. I'm also going to get a screen bottom board, and I think that'll really help them out too. The reason why I wanted to try a solid bottom board out here was because in the wintertime and even just the summertime, you get so much wind out here. I thought it would just be too much because the wind just whips winter, summer, anytime. But it doesn't seem like it's working out so well. So I'm gonna get a screen bottom board that'll probably come in the next couple days. I don't have another one on hand. So I've got 2 new beetle traps here. All you need is a little bit of oil in the bottom of each of these and you're good to go. Doesn't really matter what sort of oil, just something that will trap and drown the beetles. And that's about all you need. Should be good to go. Did a light sprinkle of powdered sugar on these guys. Gonna go ahead and with the beetle traps back. All the way, bee. Did kind of move these frames around a little bit. Okay, that should be good. And the bees will just run them in. Next week, this should be better set with the screen bottom board. Queens can really make or break a hive. For example, if you have a queen with a bad attitude, her offspring are also going to have a bad attitude, and they're more likely to attack you, mess with you. If you have a nice, gentle queen, that's what her offspring are going to be like. She's super gentle. I'm working without a suitor. I just did. No issues. I've never had an issue with this hive. They're also really tiny. But typically when they're battling pests or something coming in at them, they're a little bit more aggressive just because their defense is always up. But these guys are just kind of down and out. So if that queen were doing her job, they would have exploded this spring when I first got them. And they would be just up to the same level my other hives are at. But she's just not laying enough eggs to keep this hive going. So it's unfortunate, but hopefully still have enough time to get them saved before winter. All right, y'all, I put in an email to a local beekeeper, see if they have any queens available. The other place I was looking at is not super local, but within Indiana. But this one's just a county over, so if I can get a queen from there, even better. So we'll see what they say. Hopefully they have one for me, because that would be awesome. You can always tell the new chickens. They're hanging out together away from everybody else. Well, y'all, when I was moving these chicken coops earlier, the pearl whites in particular, they're on the turn, and the chickens don't always get the turning part real easy. I take it real nice and slow, but sometimes when I'm lifting up and just inching it over, I can't see the outer edge. And I did kind of roll one chicken underneath. It wasn't like her whole body, it was just half her body. I got it off her real quick and she sprang up acting like normal. It's been several hours ago, but she is hanging out in the nesting box, kind of acting a little lethargic, so I feel like a pretty terrible person at the moment. Hope she's okay. I'm not going to touch her or mess with her. Just gonna let her do her thing, so I don't want to hurt her any further. Might be something internal. I don't know, but I hope she pulls through. So the pearl white coop, I think part of the reason why that happened is this rope is extra long. So all the other coops, I can just pull it, but this one's so long, I have to put my arms in it like this, then pick it up. But when I'm turning the coop, I usually go on this side, then I still have to put my arm in it. That way I can lift it up over the tall grass and turn it into it. But from this vantage point, I mean, you can't see that side of the coop really well. I do inch it along, and I did see her under the board, but I mean, the weight was probably already on her. I mean, it was a split second, but that's all it takes. So I think the design of this coop too, because the other coops are round, this one cuts off, so I have even less visibility. But I think to help prevent that from happening in the future, I'm going to shorten this rope. That way I stay more in the middle, especially this coop because of design. That way I can see the whole side either way when I'm turning the coop. All the other coops have pretty short pulls on the front. This one's pretty good. I can literally just pick it up and go. If I were to, I'd have to squat down really hard to pull it like the other coop. And then this one, I still swing it to the side and pull up. But you can see from this vantage point, I can see the entire side. And that's because it's curved versus that hard V on that one. So I think just the design and the length of that rope caused me to roll that chicken underneath there. And I mean, it didn't matter how slow I was going, I just couldn't see. So she's still there, but yeah, I don't see her pulling out of that. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some channel locks and wire cutters and shorten that pull rope on that coop. Got a cat out visiting the chickens. Well, it's been about an hour and a half and she's got her head up, so I'd say that's some improvement. Hopefully she'll pull through. My fingers are crossed pretty hard right now. Poor girl. I did shorten the rope on this, so shouldn't be an issue anymore. Good morning, everyone. Today is August 11th. I'm going to go ahead and check out the mixed hive here as well as the white hive. Don't really plan to do anything other than check them out, see how they're looking, shake everybody with some powdered sugar, and that's about it. I may take the second honey super off this hive. We'll just get in there and see what they look like. Mixed hive looks fine. Dusted everybody with powdered sugar. There's not a lot of honey production going on right now, so I went ahead and took off that top honey super. They don't need it. They're not using it for anything at the moment, so I'm just gonna take it off and save it for next year at this point, probably. I don't know if I'm gonna get any more honey this year. Well, yeah, I can't get the smoker to light. I had this box that I kept some dry shavings in and then those pellets I bought. I had the lid on and everything, but somehow on the last rain, water got in there and everything's pretty damp. I think I've gone through, I don't know, a lot of matches trying to get it going. And I just don't really have anything dry out here. I have part of a feed bag I ripped off, but even that's damp. Just, it's so humid out here. I need a blowtorch to get this going, but I'm just gonna go ahead and crack open the white hive. I probably won't get down to the deep box because that's when they typically start getting a little mean with me, and then I'll just dust the top two with powdered sugar. This hive's actually being really good today. I pulled everything off, stripped it down to their bottom box, dusted everybody, and they're just being really mellow today, so I love that. It looks like this spider snatched my bee and ate him. That's crazy. So I went through this honey super that I took off. Literally nothing going on in there. Just a few bees. I did see one small hive beetle which I smashed. So it's important not to let empty boxes sit on your hive because invaders like that can get in, set up shop. The bees aren't up there, they're not really paying attention to it, and whatever is in there, whether it's the beetle or something else, can really start taking a foothold. So you always want to keep the hive the correct size. Bees are all good. Let's go ahead and grab some more chickens. I've got 4 more Americanas. I think I may have 2 left in the coop. Everybody else is looking pretty much like a rooster. So I have 2 here and then 1 at my parents' coop, the one that was injured. She's fine now, so I'll probably take her out tomorrow as well as these last 2. I have some awesome news, you guys. So that pearl white yesterday that I injured and feel still terrible about is still alive. She's in the same spot, but she's looking around, looks alert. I'm gonna go ahead and offer her some water and food, and hopefully she keeps hanging in there and improves every day. Hi, chicken. You're looking good. See if you want some water. Want any water? Too scary? I'm just glad she's looking good, y'all. Guess she's good on water. Maybe. You doing good? You okay? I am so sorry about yesterday, girl. Do you want some of that water? Well, she at least had a drink of water. We'll just keep watching her and making sure she's doing better every day. And go from there. I'm happy to see she's still alive and, seemingly doing all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys, or gals I should say, unloaded into their new home. What an absolutely gorgeous evening, you guys. Chickens are all done. I think I need to get a little bit more food to this coop, but everyone else is fine. My dad kicked butt today and cut the entire property. Looks really nice, weed eating too, so that it looks weird seeing it all cut. It looks really nice and clean and I like it. Thank you, Dad. Also today I got the water heater working, so that's a good feeling. Don't really need hot water at the moment, but good to have. So we'll need it one of these days once it gets cold and I have to thaw out frozen waters and everything else. But anyways, I got to start getting ready for the farmer's market, picking things from the garden, packing all the eggs up, loading down the car. And this chicken in here moved nesting boxes. Offered her food and water. She wasn't really interested, but you can see her back there. Seems to be doing all right. Got a hornworm somewhere on this plant. He even chewed up my tomato. Gotta find him.